you ever wake up on a Monday and think to yourself, is this it? You've got the job, you show up, do your work, get your paycheck, maybe even have a nice title on LinkedIn. But something feels off, like you're just drifting. You're not exactly unhappy, but you're not growing either. It's like your career is paused, but the rest of life is still moving full speed ahead. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. So many of us, especially in our late 20s to mid 30s, hit this invisible wall. You start to look around and wonder, why do I feel stuck when I did everything I was supposed to? You went to school, you got the job, you're on the path, whatever that means now. But still, deep down, there's this itch you can't scratch, this quiet feeling that you're not where you thought you'd be, and you don't know how to move forward anymore. I've been there too, and let me tell you, it's one of the most disorienting things, because it creeps in slowly. It's not a dramatic breakdown or a big failure. It's just this dull, persistent fog. You still function, you still show up, but something inside you is quietly asking, is this the life I'm supposed to build? In this video, I want to have a real, honest conversation with you about why this happens and how to move through it. Because that stuck feeling, it's not the end. It's a sign, a signal that something in your life or career needs to be seen, understood, and maybe shifted. Let's talk about a few of those signals. One of the biggest reasons people feel stuck in their 30s is that they're living someone else's version of success. It sounds dramatic, but it's often incredibly subtle. You might be chasing a role or a company or a title because it looks like success from the outside. Your parents are proud, your friends nod approvingly, your coworkers think you've made it. But inside, you feel disconnected, like you're playing a role in someone else's script. It happens when we never slow down to ask ourselves, what do I actually want? Not what's expected, not what looks good, but what feels right for the kind of life you want to live. Sometimes, the stuckness comes from climbing the wrong ladder. You keep working harder, pushing further, but you're climbing towards something you never chose for yourself. And when that realization hits, it can feel like a crisis, but it's not. It's a wake-up call, and it's the beginning of something better. Another reason people get stuck is that their role no longer challenges them, but they're afraid to move. Let's be real. When you've worked hard to get where you are, it's scary to risk that stability. You've got bills, maybe kids, maybe a mortgage. The idea of starting over or trying something new can feel reckless. So you stay, you rationalize, you tell yourself it's just a rough patch. You promise to stick it out one more year, but deep down, you know this isn't a rough patch. It's a plateau. And staying in a place where you're no longer growing doesn't protect you. It drains you. It chips away at your confidence, your energy, your sense of possibility. Slowly, you forget what you're even capable of. I've seen so many smart, capable adults, people with talent, drive, and heart, convince themselves to play small because the fear of change feels bigger than the cost of staying stuck. And I get it. Change is uncomfortable. It brings uncertainty. But so does staying in a job where your light is dimming. Sometimes it's not even the job. It's the fact that you've outgrown who you were when you chose it. Maybe when you took this job, you were fresh out of school, just trying to prove yourself. Or maybe it was the right move 5 years ago, when your priorities were different. But now you've changed, you've evolved. Your life has different needs, and your values have shifted, but your career hasn't kept up with who you've become. And here's the truth no one tells you. Growth always creates friction. When you grow, but your environment doesn't, things stop feeling right. You start to question everything. That's not failure. That's progress. It means you're ready for a new chapter. One that fits who you are now, not who you were when you started. And if you're thinking, okay, but I don't even know what I want next, that's normal too. Sometimes we stay stuck not because we're lazy or scared, but because we're exhausted. You're juggling work, maybe kids, maybe aging parents. Life pulls you in 100 directions, and you barely have time to breathe, let alone plan a career pivot. So instead of moving, you go numb, you scroll, you zone out, you tell yourself you'll figure it out someday. But someday doesn't come unless you make it. And this is where I want to gently challenge you, not with pressure, but with care. You don't have to figure out your whole future today, But you can start listening to the part of you that knows this isn't it. The part that's asking for more meaning, more alignment, more you in your work. Even taking 15 quiet minutes to write down what excites you, what drains you, what you wish your day looked like, that's a step. Because clarity doesn't come all at once. It comes in small moments of honesty, the kind we usually avoid when we're busy surviving. And look, this isn't about quitting your job tomorrow or burning it all down. It's about getting real with yourself, asking, what part of my life or work needs air, needs light, needs change? It's about reconnecting to that spark you used to have before the world told you to be realistic. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to be willing to start looking. Here's something most of us don't realize until we're knee-deep in it. Feeling stuck doesn't always look like failure. Sometimes it looks like being pretty good at something you no longer care about. It looks like promotions that don't excite you, like coworkers calling you a rock star when inside you feel kind of empty. One of the sneakiest traps in your 30s is confusing competence with purpose. Just because you can do something well doesn't mean you're meant to do it forever. But it's hard to walk away from something that's working, even when it's no longer working for you. So what do? We make deals with ourselves. We say, I'll stay until I hit this next raise, or once I pay off the car, then I'll think about what's next. And listen, that's understandable. Stability is important. We've got responsibilities. But if you're always waiting for the right time to take your career seriously, to take yourself seriously, it never comes. And that brings me to something that's hard to admit, but really common. Some of us stay stuck because deep down, we don't believe we deserve more. We've internalized this story that says you should just be grateful you have a job. Or don't complain, other people have it worse. And while there's nothing wrong with gratitude, using it to silence your own needs isn't noble. It's harmful. You can be grateful and want more. You can appreciate what you have and recognize that it's no longer serving your growth. But if no one ever taught you how to advocate for yourself, if you were raised in an environment where ambition was seen as arrogance or too much, if you've been told that wanting fulfillment is selfish, then of course it feels easier to stay quiet, stay small, and stay stuck. I want to tell you something that I wish someone had told me when I was stuck in a job that looked perfect on paper but left me feeling drained every single day. You are allowed to outgrow the life you worked hard to build. That doesn't mean you wasted time. It doesn't mean you were wrong. It means you're evolving. And evolution is messy. It's full of doubts, starts and stops, late-night searches for jobs that pay well but don't kill your soul. It means wrestling with guilt, fear, and the voice in your head that says, but what if it doesn't work out? Let me tell you, that voice never completely goes away. Even when you find the courage to pivot, even when you step into something new, there will be fear. But you know what's worse than fear? Regret. The kind that sneaks up at 2 a.m. and asks, what if I had just tried? Here's the thing no one tells you when you're stuck in your career. Momentum doesn't start with a plan. It starts with permission. The moment you say, I'm allowed to want more, the ground shifts, even just a little. That internal permission is what creates movement. I had a client, let's call her Rachel, who came to me in her late 30s. She had a stable job, made decent money, had 2 kids. From the outside, things looked fine, but inside, she was emotionally flatlined. Not depressed, but not lit up either. She told me, I feel like I'm just maintaining a life I'm not even excited to live. At first, she thought she had to make some huge change. Quit, start over. But we didn't do that. We started small. I asked her to block out 1 hour every Sunday to write down anything, truly anything, that made her feel alive. Ideas, memories, conversations, dreams she'd buried. And what came out of that wasn't a new job right away. It was clarity. She realized she loved mentoring new employees at work. She loved coaching, guiding, helping others grow. She started looking at internal roles in learning and development. Within 6 months, she had a hybrid position doing that part-time, and within a year, it became her full role. She didn't need a new job. She needed to remember who she was and carve out space for that version of herself to show up again. That's how change really works. It starts with noticing what energizes you and what depletes you. What conversations light you up? What skills feel natural? What tasks make time fly? And which ones make you want to throw your laptop into a lake? It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in layers. And here's a little trick if you feel completely lost about what comes next. Instead of asking, "What job do I want?" ask yourself, "What kind of day do I want?" Do you want quiet mornings or fast-paced meetings? Do you want deep focus time or lots of collaboration? Do you want freedom or structure? Do you want to lead or support? Paint the picture of your ideal day, hour by hour, and then work backwards. You'll be amazed at how much that reveals about the direction your work needs to go. This isn't about finding some perfect dream job where every day is magical. That's not real. Every career path has hard days, dull tasks, people problems. But the goal isn't perfection, it's alignment. It's being in a role where your natural gifts are actually being used, where your effort doesn't feel wasted, where your Monday mornings feel purposeful, not painful. So if you've been feeling stuck, like the spark is gone, like you're just going through the motions, I want you to know this. You're not broken. You're not behind. You're not lazy. You're just ready for something more. And that's a good thing. The moment you realize you're ready for more can be both liberating and terrifying. There's this pull, this sense that something bigger, better, truer is out there for you. But the path to get there feels blurry. And that's the part where most people freeze. Because clarity doesn't usually show up in a lightning bolt. It comes in whispers, in small shifts, in paying attention to the things you've been too busy or too afraid to name. So here's the truth. You don't need to know exactly where you're going yet. You just need to start moving. The clarity? It comes after the action, not before. Start by getting curious again. That's really what breaks the cycle of stuckness. Curiosity. You know how kids can ask 1,000 questions about something new? Try being that way with yourself. Ask, what am I drawn to lately? What kind of problems do I enjoy solving? Who do I feel energized around? What am I secretly jealous of in other people's careers? Jealousy is a weird one, I know, but it's often a map. If you're scrolling social media and someone's job makes you go, ugh, must be nice, pay attention to that. What part of that life do you actually want? Is it the flexibility, the creativity, the sense of impact? Use it. Let it guide you, not guilt you. And remember, stuck isn't always about the job itself. Sometimes it's about how you are showing up in it. I've talked to people who felt totally disconnected from their careers. Not because they were in the wrong field, but because they were showing up as half of themselves, hiding their ideas, playing it safe, doing what was expected, not what was possible. So here's something else to consider. Maybe the breakthrough isn't about leaving. Maybe it's about leading. Have you advocated for something new on your team? Have you shared that idea that's been sitting in your notes app for 6 months? Have you looked at problems in your workplace and asked, how could I be the solution? You don't always need a new role. Sometimes you need to step more fully into your current one, with vision, courage, and the belief that your voice matters. And if you're in a place that won't let you do that, that consistently shuts you down, ignores your ideas, or makes you feel invisible, then maybe it's not you. Maybe it's time to find a space that can see you. A space where growth is actually encouraged, not just talked about in HR meetings. This part's important. Don't let toxic environments convince you that your ideas aren't good, that your energy is too much, that you're lucky just to be tolerated. You deserve more than that. And somewhere out there, there's a team, a project, a mission that needs exactly what you bring. Not just your skills, but your perspective, your drive, your weird ideas, your lived experience. So if you've been waiting for a sign to take yourself seriously, to treat your career as something worth shaping instead of something you just endure, this is it. This is your sign. You're not meant to just get through work. You're not meant to count the hours until Friday every week. You're meant to build a life that feels like yours, one where your work adds to your sense of self, not drains it. That might take time. It might take mistakes, pivots, awkward interviews, and a few failed side projects. But you'll be moving, you'll be learning, and with every step, you'll start to feel that stuck feeling lift. Not because life is suddenly perfect, but because you finally stopped waiting. You started choosing to believe that your voice matters, that your needs are valid, that growth is worth the discomfort. that what you want isn't too much. It's a roadmap. And listen, I get it. Life is full. You've got responsibilities. Maybe kids. Maybe a partner who doesn't understand why you'd want to walk away from a good job. Maybe parents who came from a generation that never had the luxury to want fulfillment. But this is your life, your time. And you don't owe anyone your quiet suffering in exchange for their approval. You owe yourself a shot at alignment, a shot at waking up and feeling proud, not just of what you do, but of who you are becoming through it. So if today you feel stuck, if you feel like you're on a treadmill going nowhere, if you're tired of nodding through meetings and wondering if this is really all there is, please know this: you are not behind, you are not broken, and you are not out of options. You are in the middle of a turning point, one that's not flashy or loud, but powerful. Because the moment you decide to stop sleepwalking through your career and start creating it with intention, that's the moment everything begins to shift. You don't have to quit tomorrow. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to start. Start listening to what feels off. Start asking better questions. Start choosing yourself again. And if any part of this resonated with you, I'd really love to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Tell me what's been making you feel stuck, or what small change you want to make this week. Let's support each other, because I promise you're not the only one feeling this way. And if this video helped you at all, please give it a like and consider subscribing. This channel is all about helping people with real lives, build something better, something more meaningful. You're not stuck. You're just being called forward. And your next chapter? It's going to be worth it.